Hi, my name's Raphael Heath, the Head of Geography at the Royal High School, Bath, and this is the fifth in my series of tutorials, how-to tutorials for the Geography World Record event 2014, 19th of November, and this one relates to data enrichment. This is an activity, a tool you can only do if you're a subscriber to ArcGIS Online, which is, I believe, £100 plus VAT for UK schools, which is very reasonable for some of the powerful data analysis you can do, and the ability to save your maps and so on, and share them with students. So I'm just going to show you the map here. You should already know how to find the map, get into it. This is just some sample imaginary data. Imagine the students have entered data for your school and for other schools and so on. You zoomed into an area of interest to you, whether it's your local area or somewhere else. I've talked before about filtering data, so you might have dots here that you might want to look at all the data, you might want to filter it. So under this arrow here, you've got a sub-menu and you can filter the data and you can play around with that, perhaps showing any dots relate to your school name and so on. So here are just dots relating to the Royal High School, Bath, and some of the data the students, imaginary students have entered, and for some of the values, just to show how some of these tools work. So I'm going to go through the data analysis, data enrichment tool. So this is within the perform analysis section of the drop-down menu. Go to perform analysis, and it's called data enrichment. So I click data enrichment, enrich layer, and it's saying, well, I'm going to enrich the layer for these dots, and then what do you want to enrich it for? So this is data that Esri actually sort of hold, as it were, in the background of maps, and you can ask it to sort of search for. So I can search for various things. So I just go back. You'll notice that it's got UK here. You can click other countries if it's not automatically on the correct location. So different countries in the world have different types of data available to them. There's more in the USA, for example, quite a lot in the UK, less in some other places. If I go to the age values here, you can see that I can click on various things to add, so different age groups. So I just tick whatever I want to add. I've got 3 variables included so far. There's education here. You can see there's more data. I can click on that to expand the list. No people with no qualifications in that area. Income, purchasing power, for example. I just click these circles to go back to the main menu. Spending's got lots of information here about different spending patterns. Expand that menu and see what's included within it. Some of them have got totals per million or per capita, so you might want to just pick sort of a per capita value. So I've got 5 things selected now. That'll do for the moment to show the idea. 5 selected. Yeah. And let's just go back here and click the apply button. Okay, the apply button disappeared from that main menu. I don't know why, but if you go under a particular factor, the apply button is there, and I clicked it, and my 5 values came up. You can see I've selected 5 values. It's a feature of Chrome, actually. If you use Internet Explorer, it doesn't do that. Anyway, then it says, what distance do you want from each of these dots for the data to represent? So I can have, like, within a mile of that dot, what's the average whatever income. If I go for a slightly smaller area, like 500 meters, so that's about a circle around as big as I'm rotating now around these dots that I wanted to calculate it for. Obviously, if you pick too small an area, like you just want it for the dot 1-2 meters, it won't produce any data. So you've got to find the right balance between having it too much and too little. I type in a name here, so I'm going to call it student enriched data Bath test. So I'll put it in my test folder so it doesn't clutter everything else up. And then this use current map extent is quite important, because that just calculates it for these dots I can see. I can zoom in and out for different extents. If I untick it and there's thousands of other dots across the UK, then it will calculate everything, and that can be problematic. It might crash, time consuming, or it might just use a lot of credits. So I'll keep that ticked on. I would advise you do the same and zoom to the right extent. And under show credits, it tells me how many credits are using up. It's got 21 records. It's going to use 1 credit. I've got 1,000 or so credits as a school subscriber, so that doesn't worry me, and I click the Run Analysis button. You can see here a little whirring symbol going round. This is obviously sending off my request to the Esri servers. It's asking them to perform this analysis on my behalf, as it were, in the cloud or in their servers. and then return the layer to me in this map to actually have a look at. So it takes a little while. Like any of these analysis tools, they can be a little temperamental. There are times when they work, there are times when they don't function properly. If you're doing the right thing, then it's just about trying again, trying later, maybe using a different browser or something and seeing what happens. But this one's worked, as you can see there, first time, and now it's got dots here. Blue circles it's just produced, and this is the enriched data. I can expand that slightly. So it's got the data the students have entered actually as well there. I didn't put all the data in, but this person said that they rated their area 10 out of 10. And then it's got the buffer radius, which is 500 meters here, and then it's got the enriched data itself. So total population, 0 to 14 years old, and 500 meters of that dot are 68 people. The same dot, 500 meters, has 129 people aged 60 plus. So I can see that area's kind of got perhaps a more elderly population in. And then purchasing power, for example, per capita here, I can see it's £18,000, £18,405 per person. And I can compare that to another dot down here, for example, and see how they perform. See if it picks the right one this time. See how they perform down here. They can see they've got 14,400 odd pounds there per person, so there's some variation. Obviously I can then change the symbols to make this more visual, so I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to go to change symbols. I'm going to pick a colour for this one. I'll pick the incomes, so I go down all the list of things I can choose. I can pick purchasing power, and if I apply it, I can see it hasn't come out very nicely, so I'm going to change that a little bit more. This okay, if I change all symbols here, I'm going to make it a slightly larger symbol. Apply that. Whoops. You can see apply there. You can see that you can see my orange dots, the student's original dots, and this purchasing power data as another symbol, as a circle. I'm going to get rid of the outline, I think, on this. You'll see why later. Apply. Okay, so I've got some coloured dots I'm reasonably happy with. Transparency I might reduce, the symbol size I might increase. Okay, that'll do for now. And then the colours I'm going to work with a little bit, and I'm going to pick them green to red. Red will now represent lower income areas, green higher, maybe a blue to red. Apply. Okay, so these areas have higher incomes in them. So this particular area in Bath has a purchasing power of 20,000, you can see here at the bottom or so, and this area up here has an income of 14,000, so you can see that variation there, and clearly it's visualised. I'm quite happy with that for the moment. So I can see a pattern of variation in this enriched data. If I expand that, I can see the key, or I can go to the legend to see that, the key. And if I hover over it, it says showing purchasing power per capita, which flashes, which tells me what that data is about. Okay, so that shows the enriched data. That's how you bring enriched data in for all the dots that you're interested in. And if I wanted to show some of the student data at the same time, I'm just going to change these symbols and see if I can get something that works. So I'm just going to experiment with changing the size of this symbol. This is the students' data. So I put how students rated their area from 1 to 10 and see if it has any link to income in any way. And if I apply it to now, it looks pretty confusing. I've got sort of two dots over each other, not very pleasing. So if I go into the options and change all symbols here, I'm going to move this to the side a bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to make these circles for the students slightly larger. Just apply that so you can see. So already that's kind of working a bit better, so that I can see there's two very distinctly different symbols, but I'm actually going to make them completely transparent. If I apply that now, I don't know if you think that works. Might make the, see what happens if I make it thicker. There we go, done. To emphasize it. So what you can see here, if I expand these two, is I've got the students' scale of 1 to 10 how they rate their areas. Larger circles here representing students who have more positive ratings than the smaller circles, and the colour, the red dots, representing the enriched data values for income, purchasing power. And you know, there may or may not be a pattern. For example, this one looks like a bit of an anomaly. It's all made up data, but it's, if it was real data, you could say this anomaly that people rated their area well, but it's lower income. In these areas, they have big circles. They rate their area positively, but have higher income, blue and green dots. These areas here seem to fit a pattern more. They rated the area with small blue outline circles, so not so highly, and the incomes are lower, purchasing powers are lower. So that's how you can kind of use data enrichment, and there's, as you know, other bits of data that you can play around with in there and look for any relationships and patterns. But you've enriched data, you've brought in a sense a secondary data set, you've compared it to the primary data set, which is the student data there, how they rated their area, and you've got the enriched data there in the centre of the circle, and all the information you can look at. So don't know if you think that's visually very effective, but it's difficult when you've got two bits of dots on top of each other. But it's an attempt to do that, and obviously you've got contour maps I talked about in other isoline maps in other tutorial, in my previous tutorial, and again you can use them as a way of sort of visualizing data so that you can layer it perhaps more visually and effectively. So you can play around with those things. I hope you found that useful. Don't forget that there's our website, gisrecord2014.jimdo.com, or the Esri Schools website for more information about how to do this and other things for the GIS World Record event. I hope you get you and your students involved in this event and learn some GIS and geography skills relating to using GIS for geography investigations. I'm Raphael Heath, Head of Geography at Royal High School, Bath. Thanks for watching this tutorial.